over me. She caught me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and of course, I am so thrilled you're here, but I'm not here alone. I am joined by, I almost unmuted your line. I don't need to do that. I am joined by the remotely placed Don Longbeard. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, how are you?
It's like
I'm doing good.
I had like muscle memory going on here. I was going to reach to unmute you to get ready for your cue in, but I don't need to do that now since you're all isolating in the remote studio there. But everything going good?
Yeah, everything good. It's amazing. I just kind of woke up from like an hour-long power nap that I never ever get. So it was kind of refreshing. Now I just hope I can stay with you.
Well, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. And welcome to all of you out there. Thank you all for being here with us on this fine evening. Hope your days have been okay and you're keeping your sanity given the current circumstances, rather, not certain circumstances. But we are, of course, planning a lot of fun tonight. Doesn't mean we'll have that much fun, but we'll try. We're planning it. We're going to try to keep you entertained, of course. It's what we do here on the portal is try, and sometimes we actually succeed. If you want to call in and be a part of tonight's show, you're welcome to. You have something paranormal you want to share or an opinion on something we're talking about or whatever, please feel free. The number is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. And to those of you on YouTube, if you want, you can see the number right above my head here somewhere up there. And yeah, we're just rocking away. And hello to all of you in the TFR live audience. Great to see you guys. There's people everywhere, Don. We're just taking it over one listener at a time. Right?
That's cool.
Well,
I'm seeing some new faces. Speaking of, I'm seeing some new faces all over. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it really is.
Got some people popping in. It's nice.
We got people popping all over the place, Don, and that's always cool to meet new listeners and to see you guys come in and check out our shows. Hopefully you like what you see and you'll let other people know as well, because we are all about spreading the Paranormal Portal word everywhere. We just need our evangelists out there doing our promoting. Tell them the gospel of the portal, ladies and gentlemen. But no, we love to have a good time here. If you're new to the show, we do talk about paranormal stuff, lots of different paranormal stuff. and the full spectrum. We don't just choose and pick one or two topics. We discuss it all, but we try to have a good time doing it because Lord knows this stuff is dark enough all by itself. You don't have to have a brooding and dark atmosphere on top of it. We can have a good time, a good talk, and just have fun with it as much as we can. But we don't mistake the levity for the fact that we don't take this stuff seriously. We really do, and we really do try to come up with some answers and try to come up with some conclusions about the weirdness going on around us. I'm a lifelong experiencer of many different things, and Don I think is less so an experiencer, but he's inquisitive, and so that's kind of how we roll here. But I just had a really busy day today. But we got some great interviews coming up on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So we hope you'll check that out. We just did one today. All I can tell you is the information that was brought to the table today just blew me away. I mean, like literally, I was like, and it's from talking to people that really have their finger on the pulse of this stuff on a national and international level. The gentleman we talked to today, there were two of them, and I'm not going to let too much out. Well, no, I'll tell you. We were talking to
on Facebook.
What? That's right, we did. That's true, but I don't know if anybody pays attention to that.
I saw it.
Well, there you go. We talked to Eric Mantell and Bill Burns today. They are a couple of wonderful gentlemen and have a paranormal investigative group out of Pennsylvania, and they joined us. And Bill Burns, of course, is a household name in the UFO community. I mean, he really is. And Eric is no slouch himself. He's an incredible musician. He's also a paranormal investigator. I've been watching a lot of their episodes on their show, on their channel on YouTube or on Facebook. And they do a really good job. I was just listening tonight to one of their interviews with Betty Hill's niece, and it was really incredible, Don. You should really check that one out. And I'm going to probably share that to our Paranormal Portal page because it's in two parts, and the information that they brought to the table was incredible. But Bill is alumni of Ancient Aliens and UFO Hunters, and he's involved in many other projects as well. So on national television and international television, and my God, that man is smart. I mean, he was just rattling off dates, rattling off facts, telling these incredible stories. The man has written, not only is he a TV personality in the paranormal world, but he has also written like 43 books on the UFO phenomenon, different parts, different cases in the UFO realm. And the man really has his finger on the pulse, and he gave some information that I was just rocked by. And so I hope you guys are going to check that out. We should have that ready to go, what, Monday, Don?
Let's see, today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. Yeah, it'll roll out. I'll have it put up for release for Monday. Yeah,
Monday.
I can do that.
So definitely check it out, and I have it on good authority that people listen to our podcast. So, and actually, I heard that Bobo's requested that we do more UFO stories. So
really,
yeah,
so
Mr. Bobo from, of course, Finding Bigfoot is a listener of our podcast, and he said that he wants more Bigfoot stuff. So we're gonna do what we can, and get that out there. So, but that's definitely a must hear episode. I was a little starstruck talking to Bill. I gotta say that though. I mean, it's somebody I've watched for years, on the television, and he's just such an interesting guy, and he's just so intelligent and so impressive with his, not only his pedigree, but with the information that he brings out. I mean, he's a really intelligent guy. So really looking forward to that one coming out. Definitely look for it on Monday. We'll get it up there, but it's a fantastic episode. So, not that they all aren't. They all are wonderful, but that was a personal highlight to me because, talking to Bill was a big thing. And I I went full rookie mode, Don.
Did you?
Oh man, my brain just kind of seized up, and I'm like, I didn't. I was a little starstruck. So, But it was really
Sure.
cool. They were great, both wonderful people, and it was really a fascinating discussion and a lot of fun. So, let's see, what should we do tonight?
Uh, let's take over the world.
Okay. All right. So, I'm. Are you Pinky or the Brain? Where are we going with this?
I'll be the plucky sidekick.
Oh, okay. Plucky sidekick. All right. Um, I'm looking for something here. I thought I had a link, but it wasn't. It wasn't what I thought. Um, good God. I wonder if this is a Reddit. I found a Reddit here, Don, but no, there's no narrative. It's just a. Well, there might be earlier if I can find the actual root story. So obviously, I'm really prepared for tonight's show. I was expecting us to have a guest tonight, but that kind of fell through. So this is, huh?
It happens. It happens.
It
It's no big
does.
deal.
It does.
We do it anyhow.
Yeah. Well, here's one. A gentleman says, I assume a gentleman, yeah, it goes by the name of Steve, or Steve's older brother. So this is posted on Reddit 6 days ago, and it said, I seen the Hat Man when I was younger. Ooh. The Hat Man, Don. Now, are you familiar? You're familiar with that phenomenon a little bit, right?
Yeah, isn't that well? Didn't that originally come from the internet as well, like the Slender Man, or I know it's a shadowy being that usually wears some kind of hat,
Yeah,
like a,
like a
a,
fedora.
a like a boonie, yeah, a fedora or a boonie cap sometimes. So,
Hmm. Yep, that's kind of what it is. This is basically a specific kind of shadow person. Now, I will say that sometimes the Hat Men are extraordinarily aggressive and act negatively, and other times they almost seem benevolent. So it's really kind of bizarre, whatever's going on with this Hat Man thing. But people are experiencing it, and in fact, I used to have dreams, and both of my older children have experienced dreams with this same character. And I find that really interesting that, I'd never mentioned it to them, but when they were each of them respectively, when they hit about their teen years, early teens, started telling me about these weird dreams they were having. And,
mhm.
they're several years apart, so it's not like they both told me at the same time. They both told me independently. And I'd had these dreams when I was much younger. And I don't know. I mean, I had no concept of what I was experiencing. I was, 14, 13-year-old kid and having these bizarre dreams of this man in a hat that I couldn't get away from and was always after me and I couldn't escape. And he actually, I got to tell you, when I watched the movie Poltergeist 2 back in the day, and you remember that old guy that had
Yeah,
that flat hat on? Well, the guy
yeah.
that I experienced was a much more like he was not so emaciated, but he looked very much like that. And in my dreams, no matter what I did, I could, and it was very lucid dreams. Like I could tell myself to climb a wall like Spider-Man, and he would be on the roof, and I could fly like Superman and go someplace completely different. And wherever I went, he'd be on the ground waiting for me. And it was just horrible. And then I remember having dreams where I'm punching him like this heroic superhero cracking thunder kind of punches, and it didn't even phase him. And he said, "You can't get away from me. You can't escape me."
Wow.
And it was just really creepy, and it was horrible. I'd wake up just panting and sweating and just shaking, and I didn't know what it was. To this day I'm not sure what it was, but the weirdness is that first it happened with my oldest son. He about the age of 13 or 14 years old came to me and said, "Dad, I'm having these weird dreams. I don't know what's going on." He said, I keep seeing this guy." And I went, "Wait a minute. Is he all in black with a black hat on and white hair and very pale?" And his eyes just opened and his mouth dropped open. He goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And I went, "Oh." So that was my first indication that, wait a minute, is it something to do with family lines? Could this be
Mhm.
some kind of a generational thing spiritually? And then I thought about that and I pondered it, but then it was my middle child came up to me years later and said the same thing. And I was like, "Oh my God, what is the odds of this happening?" So I was really blown away by all this. True story. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was, but it's a phenomena that we've absolutely have experienced. So that's my experiences with what I believe to be the Hat Man. All I know is that he looks like what people describe, except that in my dreams he wasn't all shadowy. He was very pale and white hair and stuff. So, all right. So here's the story of this person that when they were younger. It says, and I haven't pre-read this, so I don't know what it's going to say. I just thought I'd tell you what I experienced in this phenomena. So it says, seen the Hat Man post earlier, and it reminded me of an encounter I had. Once when I was younger, I was staying at my cousin's place on a mattress on the floor. She used to watch videos to fall asleep, and when the video would finish, it would go to that blue screen, so the room would be fairly lit up. And I woke up during the night and was standing, and there standing at the end of the bed was a tall black figure. I could see the figure quite clearly, and it was wearing a large top hat and long cover coat and was darker than any shadow I've ever seen and blacker than the darkness at the end of the room. I didn't look at it for very long. I put my head under the blankets a few seconds after I initially saw it, and I've never experienced terror like that before. I did peek back out once more to see the bottom of the coat and what looked like pants and boots. The whole time I felt as if he was just looking down at me. I know it was not a dream, and this is a 100% true story. For the way it's been written, I'm not a storyteller, and I have no reason to make this up. It's the first time I've ever told anyone this. A few years later, I had a similar encounter, but this time I was at my house in the country, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and standing in the doorway of my room was the outline of a skinny female with long hair who couldn't have been my mom, as it was too tall, and my mom is very short. And again, I put my head under the covers, but this time I was too scared to look out again. If you've read this far, I'm happy to answer any questions. As from New Zealand was the person writing that. And what a terrifying encounter. That must have been a really solid manifestation. Don't you, because they could make out the fact that it was wearing a top hat. Now that sounds like, the top hat, from like the 1800s, when you look at artwork from the 1800s of soirees and formal get-togethers. Of course, they're wearing those ringmaster top hats. And they could see that it was wearing pants and boots on and such. So that was a pretty powerful manifestation. Don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. And so poltergeists have seem to have some kind of an affinity for younger people as well. Well, this is from what I've been hearing. We've talked about Hat Man before and all these things, and it's usually children who see them. But adults seem to see more of the straight shadow people and things like that. I wonder if that's a phenomena that is related somehow to children, under the age of, say, 16.
That's interesting. That's very interesting, and that's a great question. I don't think that it's exclusively young people, but I think that most of the encounters seem to be coming from younger people. Now,
Right.
in my own experience, there was like I hit an age and it stopped. I mean, it wasn't every night. It wasn't even maybe once a week. It might have been once every few months I would have these dreams of this guy. And then at a certain point, I just quit having them. Now, I don't know. I try to look at dreams and try to interpret them a lot of times because I think that they're largely symbolic, obviously, and they are representative of something, a lot of times, something going on in our lives. And we can learn a lot, from examining them. But, these people are seeing them manifest. And I don't know if that's the same thing or if it's something different, but it's very curious.
Yeah, interesting.
You never
Huh.
had any kind of dreams like that, Don?
No, maybe I just have a good set of bed sheets. I'm not sure. I, I don't ever remember anything like that. Nothing like that.
Oh,
No Hat Man, no shadow people, nothing that, you like wake up in the middle at like 3 o'clock in the morning, you got your bathrobe hanging on the peg, and it's like,
mhm.
oh, that's my bathrobe. That's my house coat, whatever. But I've never had anything like that, something that I could not explain.
Yeah,
And which is what makes me, the doubting Thomas in this case,
sure.
and that's like you said at the top of the show. I've got the inquisitiveness to look at it and go, maybe it is true.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I'm just trying to line up my windows here a little bit better. But yeah, who knows? It's a curious phenomena. I don't know what they are, and that's the part that I don't understand because again, we've heard where they just kind of were sitting there watching and with no interaction whatsoever, and the people would experience them over and over, and finally just say, you know, you got to leave. This is bothering me, and then
Yeah.
they'll actually just turn and walk away and disappear into a shadow. So, I mean, that doesn't seem like a malicious entity to me. But then
No, yeah, yeah.
other people are absolutely getting terrorized by these things, and maybe none of them are really that harmful. Maybe they're all just kind of some kind of weird sentinel, but it maybe it gets down to the individual reaction. Like some people see a ghost, and if they've experienced that a bunch, they might be like, oh, you got to stop this, I can't sleep when you're around or something. But other people haven't, and when that happens, they're having a real issue with it, and going into panic mode. Now I don't know if anybody's ever prepared to see a spirit. I just don't. I don't know, and I've only seen an apparition once in my life, and I was kind of worn out and tired, and I wouldn't say I was half awake. I mean, I was still awake, but I was just kind of like, I actually, when I saw it, I thought it was someone else. I thought it was my girlfriend at the time, and it wasn't. So that to me wasn't a scary experience. Now, if I had known it was an apparition at the time, maybe I would have reacted differently. But I just thought it was someone else. But anyway, very interesting. We do have a call. Let me look and see. We got about 6 minutes before the break. We got time. Let's get to the call here and see.
Bring it on.
What's that?
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Let's see who's.
Bring it on, caller. We're ready for you. All right, and this is area code 845. You're on the air.
I don't know if you're ever ready for Carlton.
Should come with a warning sticker. No, I'm just kidding. How you doing, brother?
Warning may cause serious eye injury or bodily harm. I'm doing good, guys. I had a thought when Don was talking about the having never had anything, and they were kidding in the chat about different, having paranormal resistant bed sheets and that kind of thing. Made me wonder, are you guys familiar with the grounding concept and that they make like silver lined sheets for grounding? I wonder if that would negate some of these paranormal activities of sleep paralysis and that kind of thing. Just a thought.
That's really interesting. Yeah, because if it is energy, it would. You would think it would act in some manner as a shield or protection or a blockage for that, especially being silver. God, those must be expensive, though, huh?
Yeah.
They're not too bad actually for what they are. I think the cheapest ones you can get are about $35 on Amazon for like a twin size bed. That's all you really need to ground underneath your body. They plug right into the outlet and they ground you out. They're excellent for healing and health and reducing inflammation and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't know. It was just a thought that occurred to me. I thought I'd throw it at you guys.
That's
And your last few shows last weekend were excellent interviews, and then this last one with mine was excellent also. So keep up the great work, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it, brother. It's always good to hear from you. Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't even know they made those kind of sheets, but that's really encouraging. And especially, as you mentioned, grounding is so important for people that suffer from inflammation. So that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got my mom one for her birthday back in September, and she said the results are amazing. She's sleeping better. Her inflammation is going away. She just came through a bad bout with Lyme disease, and that's helping her kind of heal up from that. So highly recommended for health, and I wonder if it would negate some paranormal activities. Just a couple cents to throw at you.
That's really cool. I appreciate that, brother. You just brought something new to the table. Awesome.
All right, well, that's my job, I guess. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work, and I'll let you roll out to the break.
All right, brother. Thanks again, and it's good to hear from you. All right, that was Mr. Pharmacy Seeds Network. Carlton's really smart. I mean, he's really really dialed into a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to nutrition. That guy, that guy should be writing books. Maybe he is. I don't know. I should ask him sometime.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. See what he's got that we could, tap into.
Yeah, we could do the Paranormal Portal nutrition book.
Oh, oh, and these
Yeah,
keep away the bad spirits. All you need is garlic, onion, and some good times.
and a Paranormal Portal throw, over your blankets. Yeah, that'll work. That'll do it. But we are moving up to the break, ladies and gentlemen. We're at about just under 3 minutes. So that went pretty fast, Don.
Wow, I did, yeah. Excellent.
I guess time flies when I'm talking about myself. I spend most of that time telling my own story. So I never wanted the show to be about me. So I hope you guys don't mind if I indulge every once in a while and tell you something that I've experienced that kind of correlates to what we're talking about. But, I have experienced a lot of different things. And, I got to tell you, you never really, I don't know if you ever really get used to it, but for me, I don't know. I've been pretty fortunate that I don't generally get scared, but maybe it's because I've never had anything horribly negative that I was dealing with, thank God. So I got that going for me. But ladies and gentlemen, make sure after the show to stick around. Following the Paranormal Portal is The Spaces Between with Paisley Wild. Don is the producer of that show as well. You're wearing a lot of hats lately, you know that?
I am, yeah. And somebody else just mentioned, hey, do you want to help me out with mine? I'm like, I barely have time to do mine. Yeah, I barely have time to be with my buddy Brent. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That's right. You got to remember where you started. That's all I'm saying. Just remember your roots, brother.
And I tell you, April's a pivotal month for us, my man. And getting that interview with Bill Burns and Eric Mantell today Mantell is just incredible. That's just awesome.
Yeah, and we've of course got Deb coming up on the 10th, and we've got Dean Harrison, Yowie researcher extraordinaire from Australia, coming on the show on the 17th, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be one for the ages too. I mean, Dean is no joke. I mean, this guy has been in this for decades, and he really knows his stuff. So it's going to be a real pleasure to have him on the show. So you can find out what's going on in the cryptid scene down under on the 17th, right here on the Paranormal Portal. And there'll be more coming up. I've got a lot of interviews and things bouncing around, trying to firm up, but it's just really exciting that we're getting so much going on. We're trying to pull together a roundtable episode, but I'll let you guys know more as that develops. But hopefully we'll be able to do that. Right, Don?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. We're going to go to our... go ahead.
Yep. There. No, go ahead.
All right.
You're
I was
right.
just going to let us go to break. We're about at the theme music, so don't go away. We'll be right back with more of the Paranormal Portal in just a couple minutes. Stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it here at the Paranormal Portal. We're in the second half hour swing already, and that's how we roll here, brother. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is our Saturday 2-hour extravaganza of paranormal fun and adventures and a little bit of mayhem as well. Right, Don?
Oh, it's usually a whole lot of mayhem.
Well, it's how we do it. We are going through just a grab bag of stuff tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing, not one single topic, but all of the topics are on the table tonight. So if you've had any kind of paranormal experience, we'd love to hear from you. Come on the show and share it with us. Just let us know. I'm just looking for another one here. I should. I kind of blew the break. I got sidetracked on something. Then I was like, oh my God, it's time to go back on. I was going to run to the facilities myself, but I'll have to wait for another cycle here, Don.
Oh no.
I know.
Well, depending on it, just make sure you take the TP with you.
We're pretty well stocked here in the portal. The portal cave with toilet paper. I mean, we didn't go all stupid with it like some people did, man. People were driving trucks up and loading them up. It's like, my God. And then there's idiots on eBay selling the rolls of toilet paper for like $20. I mean, are you kidding me?
I was seeing somebody when all this started. I saw somebody was selling like a 6-pack of Charmin for like $39.95 or something. I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh no, that was on eBay. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's such a creepy thing. To just
Hey,
go ahead.
did you hear that? Did you hear that the Powerball went up to 18 rolls of toilet paper now?
Yeah, that might be a good jackpot. I mean, that'll keep you fresh and clean for at least a few months, wouldn't it?
People get so upset. It's like, look, I'm a guy. I go through a roll of toilet paper like a month.
Yeah, I know, but then I can't go into it. But I'm just gonna say that some people basically develop a boxing glove before they go to work, and it's like, I'm not sure what's going on back there. But if you need a tarp while you're doing it, then you might want to see a doctor. Oh God, I don't know. I'm just trying to understand the world, ladies and gentlemen, and my place in it. Here's a story. It's from Reddit again. It says, I saw and felt a woman touch my hair while I was in the hospital. Now, I will say that again, we've covered it many times on the show, but hospitals are really hot spots for paranormal activity. And, if you want to find ghosts, go to a hospital because, I mean, there's birth there, there's death there, there's pain, there's suffering, there's, torment and everything in between. And there's so many highly charged, emotional and psychic events that happen in those places. And so it doesn't surprise me much that, decommissioned hospitals are like one of the go-to places for paranormal investigators. They don't let you into the new ones so much, but if you can get your feet into an old hospital that's abandoned, you're pretty much in about as good a place as is existing in this world to find paranormal activity. Whether it's people that are stuck, they may have passed and didn't feel it was their time or whatever, or if those places just act as a beacon, and maybe it's a little both, that it draws in spirits as well as probably has a few that expired there and didn't really understand what was going on. But they are definitely hot spots. You've heard about that, right, Don?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's so much energy and pain and suffering and good pain, childbirth, that kind of thing. It's got to bleed in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is.
I'm just noticing. Can you turn your head to the side once? Yeah, that way. No, the other way. The other way. The other direction. Oh, it's your microphone. It looks. Yeah, I keep seeing like this lamb chop thing appearing on your side, and I thought you were going half. I thought you were going half Elvis on me. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
No, I'm using the cordless mic.
Okay. was like, what the hell is going on in Don's face? So now I understand. But let's read this story. It says, hey, everyone. I'm on mobile, so apologies. English isn't my first language. Sorry about that, too. About 3 years ago, I was in the hospital, and it was the psychiatric wing, which already made me uncomfortable, but nothing strange happened before this. They moved me to a new room, and for the first time, I didn't have to share it with anyone. The first day goes smoothly, and I get ready to go to bed. I turn off the lights and lay down and turn to face the wall. After a couple of minutes of trying to fall asleep, I feel something touch the top of my head. Well, I start to panic and quickly turn my head around, and there next to my head is a woman with long black hair and no face. No face, Don. It was
Wow.
It was blank, but covered in shadows. Her skin was gray and pulled taut against her bones like paper. I'm terrified at this point and sit up with my back against the wall, but the woman is gone. I couldn't fall asleep for the rest of the night, and one of the nurses notices that I'm still awake and chats with me for a while, but eventually I do fall asleep. The next day I ask if someone could be moved in the room with me. A girl I'm already friendly with gets moved into the room with me, and the nurses start giving me sleeping pills every night. I never saw the woman again after that, and I hope I never do see her again. Oh, that's really creepy. No face, Don.
What would have been? Well, I agree that is creepy because we often wonder and we postulate and ask the question, why do these spirits, apparitions, whatever, ghosts, why do they look the way they do?
Mm.
And I just had something pop in my head, and the idea of if it's their choice or if it's the way they saw themselves in life.
Right.
Did this particular one see themselves as nothing, insignificant? Therefore, there's nothing there to show who it was.
Good point.
It just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Huh.
There you go. And I would agree with that. I think that that's probably a really powerful idea because, I think that in the spirit realm, the physical or the appearance is the reflection of the mental state. A lot of them, you hear of stories, people seeing these spirits with, holes in their head and, half their face burnt or something. And that's just, that's just a part of where they're at. They're still in that moment of whatever caused them to die. And that's tragic, I think. But we have another call. Let's get to this. I got to move this window around, but I can't see who it is, but I'll get him on the air. And then you're on the air, unavailable.
Hello,
Hi.
Brent. Dawn, how are you?
We're good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. This is Diana from Oregon.
Hi, Diana from Oregon. Welcome
And
to the
I
show.
had another story.
Oh.
Hi. I had another story that I wanted to share with you. I was looking at the title of your show, Exploring the Impossible, and something kind of impossible happened to my husband's car that I thought would fit the title of the show.
Please. Yeah, the floor is yours.
But this has been probably 13 years ago, and back when we were in Georgia. And he was driving. I was on the phone with him. This was back in Georgia when it wasn't illegal to be on the phone when you were driving.
Oh, sure.
And he was driving, and I had a gift shop that I was locking up, so it was right at around 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And he was driving on this it's really tight, windy road, so it's not safe to stop, just stop dead on. And while he was going around one of the curves, he saw this big ball of mist start rolling across the road, and he said that, he didn't dare stop and just figured, he had to drive through it, but it struck him as weird because it was like maybe 6 foot tall, and he said it was like a big ball of mist yarn. It was leaving a trail behind it on the ground, and it was going across, but when he got midway through that mist, all of a sudden there was a bam, and he hung up the phone with me, and I didn't know what the heck happened. I thought he wrecked or something. Mm-hmm. And we call it, he was ghost punched, but it put a big dent in the roof of his car,
Oh.
and it was smooth. It wasn't that a rock was thrown or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he had put, there was probably an eighth of a mile from where he was a convenience store. And where I was not far away. So, I came back and we both scoured the area for, just in case somebody was hiding somewhere into a rock and that it wasn't related to the mist.
Right.
And we could not find anything. And I was looking to see if anybody was barbecuing and maybe he was just really seeing smoke, but we couldn't find anything. So to this day, we just say, his car was ghost punched.
That's incredible. That's a really, I mean, it's bizarre, but in a really wild way, because something that you would assume would be intangible could still interact so physically with his car. And I imagine, how big was the dent, would you say?
Yeah.
Was it a huge dent, or like if
it was about the size of, like, diameter-wise, about the size of someone's fist.
Wow.
And it went maybe 1.5 inch to 2 inch deep. And it was like bowl shaped.
See, that's a
rounded.
hell of an impact to do that to a car hood. I mean, they do give with enough pressure, but I'm not sure that a human being would possess that kind of strength. And if you're not seeing the scratch marks of like a rock or something hard hitting, then that's really bizarre. You know what? You know what did jump to my head though, is and we've heard these reports a lot. Well, quite often anyway, with in terms of Sasquatch, that they somehow can become intangible. People talk about them, that like, and I was just talking about this just today, as a matter of fact, during one of the interviews I did today, and when we had Linda Moulton not Linda Moulton, Linda Godfrey on the show, and we were talking with her and Lee Hempel, and about the beast, the Bray Road beast, the beast of Bray Road. And it's kind of a long roundabout way, but just hang with me. But they did experiments because Lee was noticing all kinds of strange things happen around his property. So he would take like roadkill, and he would put it in a specific spot, tie it down and bind it to the ground or to something nearby that was not going to be moved, like a tree or a fence post or something. And then he put trail cam on it. And what they experienced was this strange mist moving in, and it obscured all the vision from their camera, so they couldn't see the carcass anymore. And it would only last a few seconds, and boom, it was gone. The mist would disappear, and so did the carcass of the animal. And when they look at the rope, they were actually cut. The ropes were like surgically cut, or with a sharp object. But it happened in a matter of seconds, that like a deer carcass, which is, 100 pounds, roughly 120 pounds, maybe more, maybe less, whatever, but, would just disappear in those few seconds. And along with all the ropes being cut or cut free so that the carcass could be removed, and they wouldn't have anything visually for evidence of that. Now, that's believed to be an area hot with dogman activity, but could it have been a dogman? Could that be a form that they can take, or could it be a Sasquatch? Something with considerable strength that without much effort at all could leave a serious dent. And that's what occurred to me as you were telling your story. Is like, were those weird rolling balls of mist actually something not in phase with our reality? And maybe it wasn't mist at all. It was just the fact that they could possibly have a foot in each, in more than one dimension, and can be interdimensional. So I don't know. That's really bizarre, though. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, we figured it was taking offense to him driving through it, and that's why it hit him. We don't know what it is.
That's exactly what I thought, too. It was like, whatever it was like, hey, I'm standing here, huh? Like a crabby cabbie from New York or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. But at least he was okay, and it was just a one-off event, huh?
Yeah. There was an evening that was a lunar eclipse, And we actually went back there the next lunar eclipse just in case it had something to do with it. You know, we parked off to the side and see if we saw any mist or anything, and there was nothing.
Wow, that
So
is really, really
it's
powerful.
just a one-off.
Thank
I know.
goodness. Thank goodness. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of dented cars around there, I'm sure.
Oh, I know. And that's not a safe place for people to get freaked out because it's, you know, such tight curves, you know, and if you make a mistake, you know, you get rear-ended because somebody behind you didn't see, you know, that you're stopped.
Right. Wow.
But anyway,
Well, thank you. Thank you
that
so
was all
much.
I was going to share tonight.
Well, I really appreciate it, and it's great to hear from you. Thank you so much. And if anything else comes up, let us know.
Thank you.
We'd love to hear about it.
Oh, I have lots of stories. I'll just dribble them in for you.
That sounds great. Or you
Thank
could
you
be
so much.
you could be a guest on the podcast as well, and you can go through them all if you want. But
I emailed you about that, but I hadn't heard back yet. So.
oh my God, I'm sorry. Well, if you'd email me again, I promise I'll get right back to you. I'm so sorry if I drop the ball on that one.
Okay.
All right, wonderful, Diane. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, good
Thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be great to have her on and talk to her about her experiences. That would
Yeah,
be cool.
get some, you know, get those interviews going again, you know, get those experiencers, you know, and people, you know, even if you've got just one or two. As a matter of fact, we just released a podcast last week of just like there was one that was just a one-off kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if you have an interesting story and it's just a one-off kind of thing, get a hold of us.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. Yep.
We'll take it. We're absolutely loving to hear those stories. You're absolutely right, Don. I appreciate that because I don't really think about saying things like that, but you're right. We got another call, and this is our very own Diane. Hello, Diane.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I think we're doing good. How are you doing?
Okay. Hugs and love. Oh, I'm doing really great in the middle of this. Is it really weird? I am so calm in the middle of this national thing we're going through.
Yeah.
I'm actually, you know, cheerful and happy. It's weird. I don't know. I just feel like something good will come out of it. I don't know what yet. I know that there are some people that are really suffering, and my prayers go with them, but I just feel like something good is going to come out of this. Even if it is just that families rediscover each other or that people realize that they don't have to be quite as busy as they thought they needed to be, or,
Sure.
you know, whatever it is that comes out, I think something. Anyway, the ball of mist.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, you're saying get with your stories. It's like I just realized I haven't called in for a while, and I've got about 90 million stories. I should probably write a book, but some of you already know this. But anyway, the ball of mist. I had one of those,
Okay.
and it was coming from. Huh?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Coming home from. Okay. Watching the sunset, it was a place that I usually love out in nature. Everybody goes and watches the sunset there because it's the highest, you know, unobstructed view in the county and like 4 counties. And so a lot of people come and watch the sunset there. So, you know, that was one of the things that I used to love to do. But, you know, the sunset doesn't come. When is the latest sunset? Maybe 9:30, you know, 9:45 at the latest. I forget. But
In the summertime.
so I'm watching the sunset.
Yep. Okay.
I packed myself up to head home from this place, and I took the river road. And I'm driving around, and I take the river road, and I didn't realize it, but you know, I come around this turn, and I see this thing that's like a. Please ignore that beeping in the background. It's just my oven telling me it's heated up enough. I see this thing that's like a big ball of mist, but it's all lit up inside. And it's making mechanical noises, though. This one made noise, mechanical noises. And the mist was coming all the way across the road, and it was down by the river, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I know what we got a recycling plant down there, and I know what that looks like. But this wasn't that. And I'm like, what the heck is that thing? And as I went into the mist, it's like, I don't know what happened, but the next thing I know, it's like 4 o'clock, and I'm coming home, and my husband's wondering what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't explain it. I just said, I don't know. I just came home from the sunset. How could it be 4 o'clock? I didn't even remember the drive home.
Oh.
And I never figured out what happened to me on that road. However, ever since, anytime I get anywhere near that road, anywhere near it, that area, I would freak out and want to turn around and ask people if we could go a different way. It would just freak me out. So I have no idea what happened to me on that road or what was in the mist. But
sounds like you get abducted.
Is that what... I know. I kind of wondered about that, which is why I maybe want to get... I have been thinking maybe I need to get regress someday just to put that to bed, so to speak, to like find out what the heck did happen to me, because that was really the start of a lot of weird things in my life.
Sure.
Yeah. It does sound like an abduction, and I always wondered.
Yeah.
How was I gone that long? It's just not, that just doesn't happen. You don't just, there's no way that I'd be off seeing a sunset, and then it would take me, it was only like a 15, 20-minute drive tops to get home.
Sure.
So where was I?
Have you thought about regression hypnosis? Have you thought about doing regression hypnosis?
Yeah. I've asked you about it a couple of times.
Okay.
I've asked you, don't you know people who do that? It seems like you've had a couple guests on who know people who do this sort of thing.
Not so much.
I did have a person I knew at one time who was a hypnotherapist, but I lost track of him. Unfortunately, we had started looking into some of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really got to the bottom of it. However, we did do some interesting experiments with regression and also progression.
Mm-hmm.
Or in other words, he hypnotized me to see what a possible future part of my life was.
Oh.
So, which was something that we thought we'd try because nobody had tried it yet. So, and it did work, actually. So, maybe someday I'll talk about that. But yeah, I would like to be regressed and find out. Or
yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, after that, I'm not sure. It got very weird real fast after that, my life.
Well, it seems that those people that have experienced being abducted tend to be lifetime experiencers after that initial contact. So maybe that accounts for some of the weirdness in your life anyway.
Yeah, I think so. And it also goes down through family lines, and my family does have signs of having had it all through the family, has had stuff. My dad was certainly interested in it. My mother, I think I did tell you on the show one time, I think I told you what my mother told me that corresponded to actually a famous researcher's research on alien birth.
Mm-hmm.
So I did tell it on your show one time, but I'll tell it again maybe sometime. But
sure.
Or maybe you'll have me on a podcast. Or here in Kent, because they're all hippies, maybe it'd be a podcast.
Oh, no.
No, it wouldn't be.
Oh, Well, it's wonderful to hear from you, and thank you for sharing that story. That's wonderful. But if I do find anybody that does regression, I will let you know. I don't know many people that do hypnosis at all. So even as we were just talking now, I was thinking, do I know anybody? And I don't think I do. But if it becomes available, we'll sure get you set up, because that's a story I'd love to hear if there is one there. But ladies and gentlemen, well, yeah, I think that you've got a lot of great experiences, and if they're being repressed somehow, it'd be really neat to dig into what that is that's been going on for you. But thank you so much for your call, Dee.
Okay, you too. Have a great day.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our hour break, so don't go away. We'll be right back with another full hour of fun on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
I've never sensed anything like it. Diana's not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
They can. Enjoy the rocket effect. The sound effects, of course, are brought to you by Skype, and that was our rocket effect. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but that's Skype for you, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it gives us these really sexy roars and stuff, and we don't know why. But that's the joy of those interwebs. But welcome back, everybody. Hour number 2 is upon us. Thank you so much for being here and sticking with us as we go through the portal tonight. It's always a great pleasure to have you guys here, and thank you so much. Now, we got another call on the horn. Don, you ready?
Yeah, wow, yeah, let's do it.
This is a telephone kind of night. All right, and this is area code 626. You're on the air.
Hi, Brent.
Hi. Who would talk to you?
Hi, it's Ruthie Castro.
Ruthie, how you doing, my lady? Good to hear from you.
Hi. Oh, I thought I'd call in with a good, scary story.
Those are our favorites. Those are our favorites. So by all means.
Okay, this story happened. My daughter and I both saw this happen. We were going into the ICU ward after hours, and we were instructed to come through emergency, and we were going down just hallways, going left and right. And we thought all of a sudden, oh my God, are we going closer to the morgue? We're in Pasadena.
Oh.
And just as we said that, my daughter and I looked at each other and started laughing. All of a sudden, Brent, I kid you not, we heard something roaring down the hallway coming towards us, and it was around a right-hand corner. We see this ghost. He's half on flames, black smoke coming off his entire body. He's being pushed on a gurney, but there's nobody pushing him. And it's roaring through the hall and up towards us, and we just like stepped aside. We looked at each other and went, oh my God. We started screaming and laughing because it was like, who the hell's going to believe this?
Yeah, that's like right out of Scooby-Doo, isn't it?
I know. My daughter and I have like a crazy sense of humor. And about 10 seconds later, we're standing there like with our mouths still open. An orderly came walking down, kind of running through the hallway, and I said, hey, did you just see the ghost? Uh-huh. And he looked up at us and he goes, what ghost? What ghost? So we told him what had happened, and he got so scared he started running away from us. And we were just laughing. And so we went up into the ICU and continued to just laugh about it and tell family about it. And they were like, oh, you guys, you're always seeing ghosts. And it's true. That's just part of my life. It's almost like greeting a neighbor. I see ghosts all the time, Brent. It's like, I just accept it.
That's so powerful,
I know.
though.
So that was just kind of... I know. But I had to share that one with you. I have one more if you want to hear it.
I'd love to hear it, please.
I was it. Okay. I'm hoping we have a good connection because I keep hearing you coming in and out on my phone.
Oh, no, you sound good here.
It's supposed to rain here pretty soon.
Oh, okay. But you're good here. Yep.
Well, this morning was, this is a different hospital in Pasadena. And I'm in the emergency room, and I've been hooked up to some Benadryl because I have really bad asthma. And I was there for an anaphylactic shock episode. So I get up to use the bathroom. I'm still hooked up to the IV, so I'm telling the nurse, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" She said, "Well, I can't come in with you. The room's too small." So I'm in the bathroom for like a good 10, 15 minutes, trying to use the ladies' room. Come back out of the bedroom, or out of the bathroom, and I look over to my bed that I've been on for the last 2 hours. And I see this old lady laying in my cot in my bed in the emergency room. And I went, "Oh my God, they really move faster. Did they want me out of the bed and gone?" So that's what I was thinking, and I'm laughing again. And this ghost, I realized it was a ghost because all of a sudden I started to see through her. She must have been like in her 90s. She had white hair, long white hair wrapped in a bun above her head. And she was wearing, the blue little skivvy thing they give you in a hospital room.
Sure.
And she is glaring at me like she wants to get up and hit me.
Wow.
And I stood there and I looked at her and I just shook my head and I went, "No, you don't belong here." Turned my head away, looked back over to the bed, and she was gone.
Wow.
And I told the nurse. And the nurse started laughing. She said, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "That old lady's here all the time." I was like, "Oh, my God."
Wow. That old lady's like, "Move your feet, lose your seat. That's it." That's awesome.
So I just laugh when I see ghosts because it's just, to me, it's an everyday thing. I haven't really seen one in a while, but it doesn't surprise me when I see them. I kind of look at them like, "What do you need?" or "What do you want?" or "I see you."
Do you?
So it's kind of interesting.
Do you hear them as well, or are you just visual?
No, I don't hear them. As far as like mediumship, I hear people, but not usually when I see a ghost. Usually the ghosts are very quiet. They just look at me.
Okay.
And I sometimes send them off where they need to be, and other times they just leave on their own.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
I
do that.
I'm envious.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think I am envious because I think that, I guess I feel, in a sense, I feel like I'm kind of cheated because I don't have that ability to see those things that are around us, And, I've experienced a lot of things, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had my share, but the one thing that I think would be so profound would be to be able to see all of those other people that are around and beings, I think that that's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like looking at
Yeah.
history.
Yeah. It comes from family on both sides of my family. I don't know if it's genetic or just because of where we are here in California. The activity where I live in this LA area is very active. There's a lot of activity. I do see beings also, and it still kind of unnerves me.
Sure.
But I've had this gift since I was little, like 1 years old. And it's been an interesting ride. Yeah, at first I was terrified, and now I just accept it.
Well, good for you. I think it's great to come to terms with something like that. I mean, it's something you have, so I guess that's the only option you have, right? Is to just come to terms with it because it's something you're going to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy the ride. I guess you can't resist it.
Yeah. Have you ever tried not to see, or have you ever tried to turn that off?
Yeah, and then you end up actually getting ill physically.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I just basically leave that door open. My mom did that. She closed her door because she was a very powerful psychic and medium, and she also dreamt. So I do that too. I'm a seer. And as she did that, she became very ill. She, in fact, was the person I was visiting in the ICU ward, the first story I told you.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had some exciting experiences with her when she was going in and out of her coma. I can tell you that later.
Sure.
But it's just, it makes your life so enriching. Don't be jealous. Actually, I would tell you to just ask to be able to see.
Yeah.
Ask the universe. Yeah. I would like to see, if it's time for me to see, let me have that gift. And just say thank you.
Don's shaking his head no. Don's shaking his head no.
Oh, thank you. Pass on that. Thanks. If I get an incidental sighting, then it's one thing, but asking for something like that, no, thank you. It's a great thought, though, Ruthie. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know not all of us are ready for it. Sometimes I feel like I have all this courage, but then I'm connected very much to my ancestors, and I know that they've done it. So I just ask them for strength, and now it's actually really exciting.
Good for you.
I know I probably sound crazy.
No, not at all. This is if you're crazy, you are kind of crazy. That's all I can say. But here's the thing that I think it would be great is because I think we're sharing space with these things anyway, and why be at a disadvantage and not be able to see what's around you? That to me is the biggest thing. It's like I think if they're going to be around, I should be able to perceive them. And more than just a vibe or maybe a sensation, but because if they're going to be staring at me, I should be able to stare right back.
Excuse me, can I get by?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey. I'm in the bathroom here, huh? Come on.
Out the front door.
Yeah, exactly.
I look out the front door. I go, "Who's out there tonight?"
Well, we've covered stories. We've covered stories like that where I remember a story we covered recently where this young girl had the ability to see, and she was kind of an insomniac, and she would sit in her upstairs window and just look out and watch all the spirits walk by. And
I am too.
Wow, I think that is so amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad she did that because they do come out at night. They're more comfortable when everyone's asleep.
Sure.
The cover of night is easier for them to come out. I do see them at night too. Oh, I have many stories about that too.
Well, you should be a guest on our
my
podcast.
My daughter's experience.
You should be.
That would be great. I would have fun.
Okay. Yeah. Please. Let's make that happen because I'd love to hear as many stories as you're willing to share, and I know our listeners would love to hear all of them as well.
Oh, that would be fun. Okay, we are connected through Messenger.
Yes, we are.
Just let me know.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. Well, your shows are getting good, especially the one about Bigfoot. I've got a lot of Bigfoot stories.
Oh, yeah.
More on the quantum level, but we'll get into that,
yeah. There's all kinds of fun. But, yeah, thank you so much, Ruthie. It's wonderful to hear from you as always, and I'll be in touch.
Sounds good, Brent. Hi, Don. Don't be scared. It's all good.
Hi, Ruthie.
Okay, I love you guys. Stay well, okay?
All right, we love you too, and you stay well as well, and we'll talk soon.
Wow.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Night.
That's right.
Wow.
That's how it rolls here. We got the greatest listeners in the world. There's no question. I think that most of the people that tune into this show, I mean, other than just having a curiosity, I think most of our audience are people that either have had a lot of experiences themselves or are really tuned into this and on a very, esoteric level. I mean, we've just got so many fascinating, wonderful people that pay attention to us.
I don't know why.
Well, I can't speak to that either, but I'm really glad they're here, and thank you to all of you that are here because you guys make this show amazing. And this is why, I mean, when you guys call in and share these stories, I mean, these are your stories. Nobody's heard them before. This is all brand new. And, even if you have shared them on other shows, that doesn't really count. But I just think it's so powerful because, like with Ruthie, to be able to talk with her or Diane when she called, or anybody that's called tonight, when or any night, it's just a really cool opportunity to ask questions and to bounce ideas back and forth. And that's what I love about the podcast, Don, is that we can do that on every show that we have guests, and that's really fun.
Right.
We all stand to learn so much together.
And that's the thing about it, though, is that's part of why the community that we have around us seems so strong. It's because they can identify, or they can be open to all these ideas and possibilities, and including myself. So it just makes for just a great. It just makes it great, period.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing to have this show. I just love it. This is truly one of the highlights of my life, up to this point. Don't get me wrong. I love the people in my life as well. I'm not drawing comparisons here, but I mean, just if you have to do something, doing something you love is about the most amazing thing in the world. And this is something I love. So I can't get enough of it. That's why we do so many darn shows. And we just passed 6,000 subs done on YouTube. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, we're getting there, person by person. it's
clawing our way up that hill.
we're like slow crawling our way to world domination. We're doing it on our hands and knees. Exactly. One day we'll what?
One day we'll get up that hill and we'll have world domination.
That's right. That's what we're going for here, in a really wonderful and productive way. We're not going to be tyrants. We promise. We're benevolent. We'll be benevolent leaders.
I'll just be benevolent and stand beside you, going, "Hey, how are you?"
That would be just fine. But did you notice too? Where was Ruthie when she had that experience? At a hospital. At a hospital. Yep. There's no doubt those places are absolutely aligned with people. I bet you that many people that work in hospitals have had those experiences. And I love when we find those stories that people have submitted to different places on the internet. I love when they, the nurses and the orderlies and the doctors and, all those people start sharing things they've experienced, because, I really believe those are probably one of the most psychically charged places in our modern world.
Right.
There's just no question. I mean, some strange things. So, how about this one, Don? I got another one for you.
Sure.
Are you ready? Here we go. Now, this one is from 7 days ago on Reddit, and I'm reading from the Reddit Humanoid Encounters. Some great stories that are shared here. It's just amazing what these people have experienced. But this one is human-shaped shadow cast from spot where nobody is standing. Now, this is something I've experienced as well, but on a very small scale. It says, sorry if it's dull. This is the only time in my life I've seen anything that seemed paranormal, though I found what I considered a satisfactory explanation for it. I was living in Florida at the time, walking home from campus after dark, and as I passed in front of an upscale apartment complex, a car passed it behind me. I don't know. The moving light source, the car's headlights, cast a shadow. The shadow moved as they do when the light source moves in relation to the object, casting that shadow, only there was nothing to cast the shadow. It took me a good 2 to 3 seconds so I got a good look at the shadow, rotating, swiveling, streaming away from the point on the ground where a person should have been, but wasn't. What makes me think that this was just a complex optical illusion is that the apartment complex had a gate with a decorative lighting. There are ground-level apartments with sliding glass doors, and there was a car parked in a space just inside the gate, which light could also have bounced off of, etc. It seems more likely that some kind of multiple reflection baboosery happened than it is that I saw I think they meant spooky. They said spoopy ghost shadow person. It was extraordinarily startling, though, and I couldn't accept it, what I saw, until I figured out a plausible explanation for it. When you've gone your whole life without seeing anything inexplicable, discounting sleep paralysis, the first time you see something, you can't immediately make sense of it. It is kind of mind-breaking. Now, I don't know. I can't see what this person saw. I can only try to visualize based on their explanation, but I am always fascinated by the amount of energy and effort people will go through to try to explain away their own experiences. That to me is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're actually kind of like that as well. I think you've seen some pretty fascinating things, and you really go to great lengths to try to explain them away. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
I was going to say, what are you getting at, Brent?
Well, but at the same time, I think that you're on this journey and you are curious. And I think that when you have experiences, sometimes you just have to accept that that's what you had. For instance, when you were leaving the studio, you saw those anomalous lights in the sky. I still have your voicemail from that.
It was on a. It was. I called in. I called in the next day on the show and told it. So yeah.
Yeah, but I still have, or I have the text messages. I don't remember if you left a voicemail or text message, but yeah,
I don't remember.
I have it. Very crazy though. I'll screen it before I ever share it on the show because I'm not sure if there's things if you're cussing. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're cussing like a trucker or not anymore. But you did see something anomalous in the sky, and again, this area I think is really pretty charged for UFO activity, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this area, but there's something strange going on here, Don.
Yeah. I was talking with somebody at work the other day, and they were telling me about they set out a camera at night. There was nothing. It was like flatlands. There were no trees, nothing like that. But they were looking at something out in the distance, and the person who put the camera out there said that there was like something peeking into the frame every now and then. And originally they thought it was like one of the kids or something, but the kids weren't out there at that time. I might be able to get them to email the story, or they said something about maybe they'll send us the video too. So watch your email regarding that. So that's us. I don't remember if they said that they were local at the time. Oh no, they said they were over on the peninsula, Washington Peninsula, like from my area. So that's where they saw it. So, but that's not the point. The point is they're local.
Very cool. Speaking of emails, you just reminded me that I do have one to read from a listener named Susan. And let me look at the time here. What do we got? We got 4 minutes. I think I can make it through this. Maybe I should save it for the other side, though. I think I should save it for the other side so we can discuss it.
Yeah. We can have some discussion if we need. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we'll get into the listener email right after the break, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, again, this area I think is really powerful, though. Whatever is going on up here, this is where I had my first UFO sighting, and it's also where during the first break of our network nights, there's on YouTube, there's a video of different UFO stuff in the first break. And the green footage is actually my footage. That's the footage that I took right out the back door with my night vision binoculars with a knockoff GoPro kind of rudimentally rigged into the eyepiece. But there is an anomaly that was, I think, pretty profound. I think it's a pretty profound footage. So if you've seen that first break, ladies and gentlemen, the video on YouTube that I play during the commercial break on the network, tfrlive.com, you'll see that. And, I can't make sense of what it is. And to this day, I still don't know what it is. But it seems to me that it was a UFO. Well, it's definitely a UFO because it's unidentified, but so, at least fundamentally it's a UFO, but I think, quite literally it is. I do want to mention, though, that, again, coming up after the Paranormal Portal on TFR Live, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, Paisley Wild will be coming up next, and she, of course, has her show, The Spaces Between. And I know that a good friend of ours is making an appearance there tonight. That is Mr. Naysay is apparently going to be on the show with Paisley and with you, Don, if you're there. Are you going to be a part of the show tonight?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if she broadcasts out of my studio, I might as well.
You got to be there turning knobs anyway. Might as well put yourself to work. But yeah, so that'll be coming up next, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely tune in for that. That's a 2-hour show as well. And again, you can find that at tfrlive.com, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, or you can check out the live stream, which is on youtube.com/thespacesbetween. And that'll be coming up right after our show here. So let me look at the clock because I think we're knocking right on that door. No, we still got a good minute to go, Don. So
and don't. I just want to remind you, I'm going to have to jump off in 15 minutes so she can get all booted up and everything. So
yes, yeah, of course, yes. This is the quarantine the quarantine games. Not that you're quarantined. You're what are they, isolating? I don't know. What is the word everybody's using?
I am essential, so I must stay at home so I can perform my essential duties.
Well, you're essential to me, Don.
Actually, we had a directive come down from corporate the other day that says we are required to take our temperature at least 2 hours before we come into work.
Oh.
And if we have a cough or a fever, we must go home for 14 days.
Wow. So then you would be in isolation. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is it's a weird time, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a weird time, but I think I've heard some news today. It was secondhand, so I don't know as to the source. It was from I think Eric Mintel told me about it. He said that he had heard that it was projected to, all of this is projected to peak and start winding down in a couple weeks. I sure hope that that's the truth. I sure hope that that's the case because, again, good things have come of it in some ways because I think people are really reconnecting and some people are learning that they don't like the person they're with. But you need time in order to figure those things out. That's the break. I talked right into it. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The last half-hour run of the night. It's been 1.5 hours of hopefully fun. I hope you guys have had a good time. Thank you to all the people who've called in thus far. That's been wonderful. It's always a great pleasure to get a chance to talk to you guys. I appreciate it bunches. Yeah, I was just remarking down. It looks like all our mods disappeared.
It happens. People have to, Duke steps out, see if he can have some kind of an experience outside. He's got to have his little smoke and that kind of thing. But Cha-Cha's been in and out and all that. So I think most of our family in there, they're really, really well behaved, and gotta love them all.
Oh, we love them all for sure. For sure we do, but half hour to go. I've got a story from a listener, Don, that we should get into.
Yes, please.
All right, so this is from listener Susan, who writes, Dear Brent, hello. Here are a few more stories from the list I told you about during a Darker Darkness in the Room interview. This one happened at the house I had in Henderson, North Carolina. I was pulling in the driveway around a curve and up to the back of the house. When I was in the curve, I noticed what looked like a black silhouette of a man. God, that keeps coming up tonight, doesn't it? It looked like a wooden cutouts people had in their yards of cowboys or farmers, whatnot, except this one was in a weird, almost comical position, like it was just walking along and froze in stride. My fiance had just moved in, and his work van was in the driveway. I had several seconds to look at this thing and think, that thing's got to go. I thought it was something he put out for decoration, and I was wondering how I could tell him in a nice way that I didn't want that thing in my yard. And as I drove past his van and looked back, it was gone. This happened at my BFF of 32 years' new house. What you have to understand is that she was obsessed with this house. This is a separate story now. She stalked it until it went on the market, and she may have been the reason it went on the market, honey. That weird lady's back, and she's staring at the house again. I was visiting one evening after she was all settled in, and as I was leaving, I turned to wave goodbye again to her and the kids, for her front door has windows on both sides. And I watched a misty, tall woman walk behind them from right to left as they were waving back to me. And all I could think to do is to tell her that her dream house was haunted.
Wow.
I didn't, and it wasn't long before she was telling me about things in her house. I was at her house another time visiting for the weekend after we moved to Wilmington and was sleeping downstairs in the guest suite. I felt something plop onto the bed and hop 2 more times towards me. Well, I sleepily raised my hand and patted down the bed for Bailey to come get scratchy lovin's. Scratchy lovin's. That's awesome. Bailey's got to get the scratching lovin's. Oh, that kills me. I gotta finish this now. No, my eyes are burning. Scratchy lovin's, Don. Scratchy lovin's. That just kills me. Oh, I'm sorry. There'll probably be a scratchy lovin's in our chat room now. All right, so scratchy lovin's. All right, I'm trying, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. That just killed me. And then remembered her cat Bailey had to be put down a month or so earlier. Well, I debated about telling her Bay visited me, and it took me a while to bring it up, and she said, yeah, he visits me all the time. And when I stay now, I always crumple up a piece of paper and toss it on the floor to see if it moves. He loved to play fetch, and so far, nothing has happened to make me think that he has visited me again. This happened in the apartment in Ashenville where the bite mark and the dark sleep paralysis occurred. Jen and I were roommates for a while in our much younger days, and she would always come to my room to do her makeup. I had better lighting and a makeup desk, not a vanity. And she came in one day and sat on the bed and laid her work uniform skirt on the bed beside her. I finished my makeup and we switched out. And when she was done, she went to put her skirt on and it wasn't there. We both knew it was there. We looked all over the room and finally found it folded neatly underneath a pile of my clothes on the bed. How could that possibly happen? Either her or I were sitting on the bed and neither left the room. How did something get folded and placed without us noticing?
Wow.
I hope you and your family are doing well. Yeah, we are. Thank you so much. But that is incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. You know, that the misty thing that crossed right to left, right behind them. Is that what they said? Is it was right behind them?
So she was walking out the door. The door was shut, but there was two windows on either side of the door. And the family that was there was sitting there waving. And as she turned around to wave back, she saw something white and misty walk behind them from right to left. So she knew something was in that house already. But it doesn't sound like a negative thing necessarily. Some people, of course, would be really thrown off by that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty intense. Pretty intense,
Wow.
Don. You need some scratchy lovin's?
Oh,
Oh, no.
right here.
No.
Right here. There you go.
Oh my God, that just threw me, man. That was hilarious. I've never heard scratchy lovin's. Oh, that kills me. I love the way people talk to their pets. It just cracks me up. Whatever. To each of their own. But scratchy lovin's I wasn't ready for that at all. That one
Well,
hit
now
me by
you-
surprise.
You know, I know Anubis from now on is going to get scratchy lovin's too.
No, he gives them, Don. Remember
Oh,
your toes?
yeah, that's right.
He gives you
God.
scratchy lovin's all the time. That's why he's no longer welcome in the studio. Don't you remember?
Well, one reason.
We'd be doing the show and Don would be like, "Nar, nar, nar." He would be attacking Don's feet. It was hilarious. So anyway, that's how it rolls here. But yeah, that was a good story. I like that one. Thank you so much for sending that in. I really appreciate it. And then, of course, she was a guest on the podcast and had the bite mark, the strange bite appear.
Yeah, that's
right. So very cool. Very, very cool. I love me some stories, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have stories of your own and you don't want to be on the show yourself, but you want me to read them, you can also email those to us at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So you got about 2 minutes. Are you going to head out?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut out so Paisley can get in here and move into my studio and move stuff around and put things in weird spots. And she does that to me. It's like a game of hide and seek with my stuff.
It's like a game of capture the flag. Right now you've got it. This isn't how I left it.
All right. So yeah, but thank you everyone. We'll see you later. And I'll work on that thing tonight and tomorrow, and we'll get it put up, and then it'll be ready for the podcast on Monday.
Beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, and have a good night, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you guys later.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's just us. I think we're alone now. I'm just trying a sultry voice. Is it working? Did that work? No? Was that good? No? I don't know. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff. So let me minimize this stuff and get my space all reorganized here to handle the not Don Paranormal Portal, the no longer Don Paranormal Portal. So yeah, we've had really great participation tonight. Thank you all of you who have been participating and sharing in the fun that is the Paranormal Portal. I just really love it when you guys call in and when you guys participate with me. Doesn't seem to be any Don round. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be, does there? Okay, now this, where the hell does this go? Oh yeah, this goes over here. Well, I can leave it there. That one's nice. That's a good home for it. We got another call here, and this is from our very own Miss Deb. How you doing, Deb?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful.
Sounds
Well,
like you guys are doing great too.
yeah, we were doing good. Don just had to step out, of course, to prepare for Paisley's show. But welcome to the show. Thank you for calling me.
Well, thank you. I've been debating whether to call or not, but you got to talking about pets, so I decided, okay, I'll call and let you know what happened to me a couple of nights ago.
Oh, please.
Well, I sleep sitting up because of my breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 4:37 in the morning, and you know we talk about on the show a lot that witching hour and waking up feeling like you're being watched.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I opened up my eyes, and there in front of me was a dog spirit,
Oh, wow.
just standing there looking at me. And it was really weird because Luna sleeps with me, and she wasn't saying anything. And, I mean, it's one of those where, yeah, you don't wake me up. So, I mean, it was basically, okay, you've got to go because we're not going to do this. You know, I'm trying to sleep.
Oh.
And I kind of watched for a couple of seconds, and it was just looking at me, and I thought, no, that's it. I'm going back to sleep. But it was just, I don't know, it was just so weird.
So it didn't seem like it was your dog?
Tell, you know, huh?
It didn't seem like it was yours? Like an old pet of yours?
It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was. And I was trying to think of who it was, and I think it was a little Stinky.
Little Stinky. Okay.
Yeah, his name was Stinky McStink.
Okay. And I'm sure there's a reason here in that nickname, or
I used to cut. He had a way about him, so I was always calling him my little stinker. And I was like, there we go, that's your name, Stinky McStink.
Okay, gotcha. So it was just staring at you, just sitting there on the floor in front of you?
No, it was on the bed.
Wow.
Like I said, I sleep kind of sitting up.
Right.
And when I opened up my eyes, there it was, just standing there looking at me.
That's really strange, isn't it?
And no, it wasn't a dream because, like I said, I mean, I looked at the clock. It was 4:37 in the morning.
Now, do you often see spirits too? I mean, is that a visual thing really strong with you as well?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have, over the years.
Sure.
I can hear them. I see them. I feel them. Yeah, I do see them.
Wow. That's wild. And so what do you do in a case like that? So this animal's visiting you. Is it just a, hey, I'm still here thing, or is it a visit? Or do you think it's that Stinky's always around you?
I've kind of seen Stinky off and on, moving through the house. He's been here off and on quite a few times, but I mean that's the only time I know of that he's been sitting there watching me sleep. So
that's wild. Because I tend to think that, I don't know, maybe it's a romantic version of the idea, but I tend to think that they actually kind of came up in the TFR chat that someone said, hey, how come we don't hear about cow spirits and deer and things like that? How come it's only people and cats and dogs? And what occurred to me was that, well, cats and dogs, of course, have that emotional bond with us, that it's really, I think, a spiritual bond with us, and that's why we perceive them. But these other animals and fauna don't have that same connection to us and to our experience. And so maybe that's why we don't see them. But we do hear about animal spirits quite a bit, I think. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
And do you think
they're around us?
Yeah. Don't you think they stick around us until it's our time to go?
Well, it's the same as our family and friends. They come and go.
Okay.
They kind of keep an eye on us. It's not that they're always here.
Okay.
It's just a case of it coming around every once in a while to sort of visit and be around us, because there is a love bond.
Mm-hmm. I think so
And
too.
yeah, there has been people talking about having pets like cows and goats and chickens, and I mean, you don't hear it so much because I think people have that idea of, my gosh, if I tell this story, people are going to think I'm crazy. But yeah, I have heard stories of them, talking about those animals coming back and visiting them. But it's ones that they have made pets out of, and they've had that bond going on with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're right. I mean, that makes sense to me, is that they're a part of our world, and in so many ways. So it makes sense that they would continue to be a part of our world and be a part of our experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be joining us on the 10th. Are you all ready for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be wonderful. And ladies and gentlemen, April 10th, which is a Friday, our very own Deb, who is talking to me now, will be on the show. She is our Paranormal Portal psychic. If you're new to the show, she comes on about every month usually. Every once in a while it's every other month, but usually it's every month, and she does free readings to callers of the show. Now, if you're looking for a reading as well, you can get a private reading with Deb by going to Purple Mystic Readings by Deb on Facebook, or you can email her at purplemysticreader@gmail.com. Right? Did I say that all right?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay. Yeah. I you know of my personal dyslexia with remembering names and words and stuff. So, but yeah. That's going to be a great time, and it's been a couple months now, so I'm glad you're coming back on, and I'm expecting we'll be plenty busy that night.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, do you want to? Let's see. I already gave out your email, your Facebook. I was going to say, do you want to give out any more information? But I guess I already did that. Never mind. I'm just bouncing here. It's been a really a heck of a day. How are you handling all this stuff that's going on, or is this kind of just another day for you? Did I lose you? Uh-oh. I think I lost the phone line. The phone line's disconnected on me, ladies and gentlemen. I just lost my own lines. That's weird. Let's see. There it is. Let's get us back. If Deb stays on, let's see. There we go. I'm reconnecting us to the phone lines. Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. No, that's okay. All right, we're good. Deb, are you there still?
Yeah.
Sorry, but all of a sudden the phone lines dropped. Like, I guess we weren't supposed to continue that conversation. But I forgot even what I was going to ask you. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to you being here, and thank you so much for calling in tonight and sharing your story of Stinky. This is like funny pet night. I love these names. It's so hilarious. But I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Okay. All right, my lady. Well, I bid you a wonderful evening. Thanks again for calling, and I will be talking to you soon.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night. We are just approaching the end zone here, ladies and gentlemen. We got about 6 minutes left, so I think I can get a story or two still in the minutes remaining. Let's see, where was this one? Yeah, I did that. No. I don't think I want to read that one. Hold on. Oh, this one sounds pretty scary. This one sounds pretty scary, ladies and gentlemen, and it's called Long Green Arm at the Foot of My Mom's Bed when I was about 6 years old. And this will probably be about the whole show here. It says, okay, so not sure if this belongs here. When I was about 6, this encounter happened. And I've never ever had a very active imagination. I tried very hard to make imaginary friends when I was little, but was never able to see them no matter how hard I tried. And I've never seen or heard anything strange except for this, and a faint memory of something else, possibly in that same bed on another night. So it has stuck with me, especially because my mom still knows it happened. I was sleeping in the bed with my mom and I think my little sister at the time, and I woke up earlier than them and was messing around in the bed, and there was a bump in the covers across the foot of the bed, and I felt it, and it was a hard lump. I remember asking my mom if it was her leg. I didn't think it was because because it was across the whole bed, and she said no. And she still remembers this because I brought it up several times. So this event really did happen. Anyway, since she told me no, I knew it was something solid under the covers. I got off the bed and went to the side and lifted up the blanket. And there was a green, might have been brown or gray or something. My memory is not exact on this, but hand under it. It looked bony and ugly, like a cartoon witch's hand or something, with speckles or warts, maybe. And I'm not exactly sure, as this happened almost 20 years ago. So I curiously went to poke it, and it quickly retracted all the way back and under the other side of the bed. Oh, that's horrible. So I told my mom that I saw this alien arm, but she told me I was just imagining it. So to this day, she remembers me asking if I was touching her leg and telling her about this arm I saw. So I know I must have felt that solid object under the sheets. When I went back to touch the lump in the covers, it went down as there was just air under it now. That's the whole story. To be clear, this long arm stretched all the way across a queen, possibly king-size mattress at the foot of the bed. The other faint memory I have is that it was nighttime, and my sister and I were sleeping in the bed, and my mom was downstairs. I think the arm might have come back, and this time I held it tight inside the covers and called to my mom to come look. I caught the alien arm, but she didn't come up right away. And so I tried to go to the bathroom door and call her, but I might have let it go or something. When she came up, it wasn't in the covers anymore, but this memory is very, very faint and not anywhere near as clear as the first. Some things that might help it in identification, possibly. My mom used to hear voices in the pillow when she was very little, but my grandma prayed over her and they went away. I'm very interested in aliens and have been paranoid scared of them for a long time, but now mostly just interested as I read more about what's going on. My dad saw a large triangle UFO when he was young with his cousin, the same kind that was seen in the Arizona Lights sighting. These things have both led me to believe I may be connected to the aliens, like they're watching me, but I don't have good proof of this, and I've never had a UFO myself, from what I can recall, though I feel like I have faint memories of seeing one around 15 years old in the light of day, possibly passing behind a cloud. I'm part Native American and very faintly like 1/32nd-ish Blackfoot or Cherokee, and I'm also Irish and mostly Ukrainian. I've never felt my ancestors with me, though. Also, at the time of the house we were in was located right on top of a small canyon, probably only 30 feet tall and 50 feet wide in Southern California. I never had sleep paralysis, but I often lucid dream, which started happening when I was maybe 10, and found out that I can control my dreams somewhat as long as I don't get too excited when I realize I'm dreaming. I have never had anything else weird happen to me or around me. My sister used to see ghosts in the hallway at our dad's and have premonition dreams, though just little things, like she would dream mundane life occurrences and then they would happen. My great-grandma on my dad's side is a quarter Cherokee and had greater premonitions more often, and supernatural things happen around her, though. Anyone have any clue what I might have seen and touched? What could it be? It could be something horrible. I don't know. That's a scary one. I hope I never see an alien arm under my sheets. That's all I got to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you all for being here and being a part of what we're doing. It's always a sincere pleasure to be here and doing the shows for you guys and with you guys. And I do mean with you because, the call-ins made the show tonight. That was just the highlight of the show. So thank you to all of you who called in and decided to be a part of what we're doing. That's really and truly my favorite part of doing this show live is when you guys call in. So don't ever think, oh, I don't want to bother him. If we don't have a guest on, I love your guys' calls. So please keep them coming. I guess all I can say is I'll be back tomorrow night with some night terrors for you guys. I hope you'll join me then. And other than that, that's going to about wrap it up. Again, Paisley Wild coming up next with her guest, Naysay. Kevin Shores will be joining her. And Don, of course. So love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, guys. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m.